Hello, everybody. I'm Priscilla Shirer. I am the much younger sister of this one right here. This is Chrystal Hurst, but she doesn't need any introduction because this is her podcast. In fact, this is the 500th episode. Let the church say 500.
500.
500th episode, which tells you a whole lot. In fact, everything you need to know about Chrystal Hurst, you know now because there's 500 episodes. Who has that kind of work ethic, that kind of consistency, that kind of faithfulness and innovation and creativity to show up 500 times over the course of 10 years? Bravo, Chrissy.
Just your tone is a little sus. It's just
Why? I'm celebrating
oh,
you.
okay, all right.
This is the honest. See, she can't even take me
No,
seriously.
I just know her. Go ahead.
Anyway, I am the host of today's episode because I want to interview my sister for her 500th episode and celebrate this. It's a big milestone. Seriously. Do you
Thank you.
feel like it's a milestone?
As much as a person with my work ethic would feel like it's a milestone.
So describe that because I don't know if people quite understand the level of achievement to which you aspire.
It's a box to check.
So is it hard for you to celebrate things like this because you always feel like, yeah, but I still have to do A, B, C, and D?
It's just I got to 500. Yay, check. 501.
Yeah, we're going to have to work on that because you're going to need to celebrate.
That's why you're here.
That's why I'm
That's
here.
your job.
This is a big
You're
deal.
the cheerleader.
It's a big deal, Christy.
Thanks.
So relax
Okay.
and take in the
I
facts.
can't because I don't know what you're about to do.
I- We're not about to do anything.
It's like I'm sitting there like,
Why do you not trust me?
I don't know.
I have formulated questions here that I'm going to stick to.
Okay.
Maybe.
Uh-huh.
So anyway,
Okay.
first question, ma'am.
Yes.
What inspired you to start the podcast? Seriously, 10 years ago, what made you think, I think I'm going to do a podcast and stick with it and interview people and have great, meaningful conversations? What made you want to do a podcast to begin with?
Mainly because somewhere I read or somebody told me that podcasting was a great way to grow your audience. And also, if I wrote for 30 minutes at best, I could probably get a solid 500 words in. But if I spoke for 30 minutes, I'd have 7,500. So
Very
in
interesting.
theory, I could get more thoughts out. It goes back to
This also
productivity.
tells you about her level of achievement that you were thinking about word count when you decided
I was thinking
a
about word
podcast helps me to achieve more than writing it. I mean, than writing it down on paper.
Mhm.
But was your thought then that some of these words that I'm speaking, now it's more words, and if I were sitting down with a pen and paper, that I can use them then in writing because they can be transcribed and it's more words than...
Yeah. In theory, I thought that. I forgot that if you do that, it brings you back to writing though. So I didn't necessarily finish that loop. But
Mhm.
yes, in theory, that's what you're supposed to do. You podcast, you transcribe. From that transcription, 7,500 words, you ought to be able to get 3 or 4 blog posts out of it.
Yeah.
You know, you can then go back and copy and paste and quote and all that.
So it was a great like stewing ground for other things to springboard off.
It's like rough draft. Like talk your way through your rough draft.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Okay. So when you first started, like how many people were in that first few months of you podcasting? How many people actually watched? Because I know you were aware because you got all these
You know what?
background codes and things that tell you.
I probably can look and tell you, but I don't remember. I just remember being awake at 11 something into midnight because I told everybody it was going to be up on May the 5th, 2014. And I was like, I didn't know how to do it. So me and Shonda were up Sunday night
Shonda's the best.
with her going, touch this, enroll here, create a login. I had recorded 4 episodes, but I had not set them up to be listened to.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, I recorded it, but I don't know how to
Upload it.
I don't know how to get it out into the world. So,
Did you get it up on
Mhm.
time or was it late?
I don't appreciate your tone.
It's a question. It's an honest question. Were you able to get it up on time?
People
or
could listen to it on Monday.
Why do I feel like you just couched that?
Well, because what was on time? I don't know what
I thought you said you had to have it up by midnight. That's what I was getting to.
I was trying to have. Okay. It was available on Monday by the time most people in the world were awake to listen to it.
Yeah. Okay. I see you hopscotching around
Eh, eh.
that response. Okay. Here's what I want to know. I know this is going to be a very difficult question for you to answer because it would be if I were in your shoes. Who are your not favorite interviews, but most memorable for any reason? Either they were hilarious or they were incredibly insightful or they were super moving to you because of what you were facing right then in your life and the person you happen to be talking to. Like the first two or three, because I know you have many, you've loved the conversations you've had. There have been so many wonderful ones. But what are the first two or three that come to your mind that were the most like, I'm glad I talked to that person?
It's so hard because the ones that are more recent are the ones that pop
Yeah,
up in my
of
mind.
course, of
But
course.
I would say sitting here right on this couch with Naomi Rain, just fun. She was just
Isn't
fun.
she fun?
She was just like my people. It was just easy, and we didn't want to stop.
I know.
It was
And
great.
Naomi's like the most
A
regular,
regular.
for real. I love that about her.
So when she and I were sitting on the couch together, we were both fixing our clothes.
Uh-huh.
She was like, "Oh Lord, the button open. Can you see this?" I was like, "Can you?" We were all protecting the Oompa Loompa, and it was just, I felt
I feel like we need a definition for the oompa loompa.
it's all the things that look roly poly and Michelin like that happen between your shoulders and your hips.
And then you don't really think about it until you watch it
See it,
back.
and you're like, "Why didn't somebody
Why
fix
didn't
that?"
somebody tell me?
Right,
Understood.
right,
Okay.
right,
So
right,
you
right.
and Naomi Rain just hit it off. It was fun. It was
Yeah,
easy.
it was fun and easy. As soon as she walked through the door, it was like people, my people.
Yes.
Um, I would say there is a lady, she had a lung disease. So the whole time I'm talking to her, I can listen to her oxygen machine in the background.
Wow.
And her whole book was about basically giving yourself grace and how to talk to yourself kindly. And um, she was writing the book and talking about kindness and grace and forgiveness of yourself as a message to her children.
Ooh.
So her whole thing was, when I'm gone, this is the message I want to leave them.
Was this a lung disease that she knows that it's progressive and it's
She has
probably
since passed away.
she has since passed away. So she was talking about these virtues in relation to here's what I want my children to know because I know I won't be here.
Yep. And she had
Oh
a
my goodness.
CD of affirmations of self-forgiveness and grace, because she was like, I know that when people are struggling with this, that they need to hear somebody's voice tell them this. And I want my children to have my voice. So it was a CD, just a woman who was a writer who was very intentional about, everybody else in the world can get this, but this is for my kids.
Oh
And I
man.
remember crying on the episode, and I was so sorry. I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't want to be
Yeah,
sad. And she said, no, if what I'm saying has touched you like that, then that just tells me I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Her name was Kim Fredrickson.
Kim Fredrickson. Okay,
Mhm.
y'all need to look up all of Crystal's 500
Yeah.
episodes. However, Kim Fredrickson
Yeah.
really touched
And
you.
she was an
Yeah.
early days one. And then I think I just remember the ones that make me cry or laugh, like high emotion, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
I've now interviewed Dr. Kurt Thompson twice.
Mhm.
And just he, as a man and as a scientific person, the degree to which he is moved to emotion when he talks about shame
Mhm.
and God's forgiveness and how God wants to be with us
Because
and the
most of the time
intensity.
people are one or the other. If they're very scientific, they're not very connected to their
Yeah,
emotions, and he has.
he has both. And I was just marked by a man who is smart enough to explain it and sensitive enough to feel it at the same time.
Mhm. Ooh, Chrissy, that's great.
Yeah, I
You
enjoyed those.
you've had great episodes. You've interviewed funny people. You've interviewed endearing people, and what I love about your podcast is that you've interviewed people that aren't just in the comfort zone of where your normal world is. You've been intentional about interviewing people just outside of the norm that
Mhm.
may in some ways cross some lines that might make some people
It's because I'm a
uncomfortable.
little rebellious.
But I love it. I'm about that life.
I'm a little rebellious.
Not as rebellious as me. Can I just tell you that? So you don't have to explain
No,
to me.
you just were overtly rebellious.
Oh, okay. Yours is just more hidden and internal. Yeah, we should tell those stories. So here's what happened when we were growing up.
Don't do it.
My parents knew that I was raggedy. When I was rebellious or when I was straight up lying or just doing something, they knew it.
Because she's a good liar.
This
Like
is in childhood. She said that as if it was
in
present tense.
general, it is, we all have to be rescued and saved by grace. You have a natural ability to tell an untruth and to just be stone cold faced. Like, I'm just saying, like, we all are gifted, right? We all have sins that come
What?
easily to us. I'm just
Okay.
saying that was easy.
All I'm saying is you said it in the present tense. You didn't say when we were children. You said she's a great.
I'm just saying Paul said he was a chief of sinners. He spoke about himself in the present
You
tense.
know what? This is getting worse and worse. So back to me interviewing
Yeah.
you. My point is that I was a little more overt in
Yes,
childhood,
correct.
and you were doing the same foolishness.
Actually, no.
You snuck out
No, I didn't.
of the house.
No, I
Yes, you
didn't.
did. You told me you did. I
I was
never snuck
I
out.
was probably saying that to get some street cred with you.
Oh, I thought you really did.
She's bad. If I tell her I snuck out of the house, then maybe she'll respect me.
You never did?
No,
What?
I never. Did you?
No, I never snuck out of the
Now,
house.
one time I wanted to run away,
I
and
remember that.
and I sat there in the living room telling mommy and daddy that I was going to run away, and he said, okay. Well, how? he,
Bye.
he said, what are you? Do you know what you're taking?
Like, where are you going?
And I
Yeah.
said, I told him I was going to take this, that, and the other. He said, you have a bag to pack it in? I said, yeah, I'm just going to get the. He said, that's my bag.
You can't have that bag. I
Mm-mm,
purchased that.
that's correct.
Yeah.
And he said, you can't take my toilet paper. You can't take he just started going. And all the thing that kept me from leaving was if I go out in these streets and I don't have no toilet paper.
What am I gonna do if I
Yeah,
don't have
that
my
was really,
Charmin extra fluffy?
that was it. Because, I can't do nasty. So I was like, I can't, what am I going to do?
There are gas stations with toilet paper.
That's what I thought.
Anyway, we're a little off task. Here's what I want to know. 10 years ago,
Hmm.
you were, I was going to say mid 40s, but you were young 40s.
Okay.
What would you tell your 10-year younger self about two things, just about life in general? Are there things that you wish your 42-year-old self, 43-year-old self was aware of or could relax about because now you know better? So, about life, but then also about the podcasting journey.
Hmm.
So, those two specific things, your 10-year younger self, what would you tell her just about life in general? But then also, what would you say about your podcasting journey? Because there are a lot of people who are probably watching, have been thinking about starting a podcast, considering it, contemplating it. What
Hmm.
would you say to the beginning of this particular journey about that?
I would say make your pursuits a part of your paced path. And what I mean by that is all the things that I am doing came from me living at a pace in my life and weaving this into that. At 42, my focus was on getting things done, basically.
Mhm.
And the wheel doesn't stop. So instead of saying, I'm going to do these things and achieve these things and I'll get back to these things, I would continue to live my life at that pace and fit this in.
So you're saying that's what you did, and it was a good thing, or it was
I'm saying that's what I didn't do.
you didn't do?
Between 32 and 42, raising small children, I
Yeah.
blogged in the middle of the night. I Googled to figure things out. I went to conferences as I had time. From 42 or 52, I I was racing. And I don't know that sprints are bad. It's just that it's hard to get off
Mm-hmm.
because there's always a thing that you need to do.
Always,
And
yeah.
sometimes it's related to work, like you got to, and
Mm-hmm.
different things. But I would be more intentional about the pace that I want to have in my life so that I'm not like, dang it, has it been 10 years and I still haven't gone back to my piano lessons? You know what I mean? Like that. So just mixing it in better. That's what I would say as far as life.
Is it too
Watch your pace.
minimizing to say then time management is what you're referring to, or
No, I manage my time very
prioritizing?
well. And it's not even prioritizing in general.
Okay.
It's prioritizing the things, it's smelling the roses. It's
Yeah.
prioritizing the
Things that
things that
you
are fun.
enjoy.
Right. And
Yeah.
I've done them, but I just not at the pace I think I can do better with that.
So then before we get to the podcasting part of that question, let me just ask you a few more layers of that. What are you going to do differently now at 52, 53,
Don't rush
52,
it.
50,
Two.
58? Oh,
Two.
52. Okay. What are you going to do differently now between 52 and 62 to address that? Because you have been at a breakneck speed of life.
And I mean, I like living there.
You do.
I enjoy, so let me just
Chaos.
say that, like,
She
I am
enjoys
not,
chaos.
no.
She
I
actually
am
does.
not bothered by high speed. It's just that high speed doesn't let you look out the window and see the roses. That's
No.
it.
Yeah, it
I
doesn't.
enjoy driving fast cars.
Yeah.
I enjoy that. But I think balancing that out better is what I'm saying. So when you ask me what I'm going to do differently, I mean, one of the things that I have started doing, it happened when I got a new mattress. I love my bed. You remember how grandma
Yes,
used to
she
say,
does.
I just want to go to my bed. I just
Go
want to
to
be in
my
my bed.
bed. Isn't
I'm
it
like, is this what
beautiful?
happens when
This is what happens.
you
Yeah.
know? But I get in the bed every night. You know how you describe, do you still do the hot foot thing in the bed?
Totally.
Like,
Yes.
so that feeling of,
Can I break down
yes,
what the hot foot thing is? Just
yes,
because she said that kind of in passing. So I have a heating pad, just a regular heating pad. It's got an automatic on and off, like at the 2 hour mark, it'll turn off and all that. But basically, it is at the foot of my bed. It's there all the time. I actually have a travel one. I travel with one too. And I turn it on before I get into bed at night. And so then when I'm getting ready for bed and I get all cozy, then I get in the bed.
look at her, she getting excited.
And right down there where my feet go is this electric heating pad. It is like one of the simple pleasures and joys
Yep.
of my life. I've done it for years. It has to be over a decade now that's just like one of my simple pleasures in life. So you're saying for you,
Just getting
you
in my
got that
bed.
mattress and you get in the
I
bed.
get in my bed. I got the good 800 count sheets. I mean, I went in on the
You
bed. I
did
went
it.
in.
Why not do it?
And I love that so much. And so when I'm done, I go to bed. I rarely, I mean, the girls that work with me probably disagree because they see sometimes 2 and 3 a.m. emails. But for the majority of the nights, I'm in the bed. Because you'll call and be like, I called you, you didn't answer. I'm in the
Yes.
bed.
But we do need to clarify. She's in the bed, but her laptop is in her lap and she has fallen asleep like this.
Correct, but I get in the bed. It's actually like going to bed with a teddy bear because I don't actually,
So in this scenario, the laptop is the teddy bear?
laptop is the teddy bear.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, like, when I get in the bed, my body goes, it's time to go to sleep.
Yeah,
I
well,
go to sleep. I do not
or
have a
if you
problem going
sit
to
down
sleep.
on a couch.
Or if I sit down on a couch. But
Karis, your daughter is the same way, you know.
she is,
You and
she
Karis are the
is,
same way
she is. We have multiple photos to bribe each other with
of
of
falling
just,
asleep random places. Yeah.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I go to bed. I rarely set an alarm. My body wakes up when I'm done. So that's one thing is I go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Number two is I am learning to do my Priscilla better and just be like, I mean, it's just going to have to wait. I can't fit it on. I just be like, what would Priscilla say? So that's number two. The world will go on if I don't do it. And
World will go
and then the
on.
third thing is just trying to be really intentional about doing fun things.
Yeah.
Like
You are good at
I'm
that. You do that.
yeah, but I need to make it more normal good, not jump out
Yeah.
of a plane good.
Right. She literally, as many of y'all know, she jumped out of a plane for her 50th. Was that
Yeah.
50th birthday? Oh my gosh, I can't believe it was that
Yeah,
long
I'm trying
ago.
to be less extreme
Yes, you
with
wait
it.
until like you jump out of a plane as
Yeah.
opposed to just daily life.
Yeah,
What do
like
I
I don't
like
have to go to
today?
Hawaii.
No,
I can go to a hotel 20 minutes from my house and just
you
lock the
really
door.
can.
So I'm trying to not,
Yeah,
but I still like Hawaii. So there's that. But I'm trying to say, what are the things that I enjoy and put them in?
to your day.
Yeah. And also, I'm down to the last kid. Life is different.
It is the
So
pace,
that's
the possibility of
the
having a different pace.
possibility. That's
Yeah.
correct.
And those of you that are, that you are in the phase right now where you have young children, hear clearly what she said. When she was in the 32 to 42, it looks a certain way by default. There is
Right.
some level of pace that your life requires of you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay to feel kind of like nothing is ever settled and steady
Mm-hmm.
and I can't figure out the
Mm-hmm.
exact schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Just relax into that.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's seeing the next 10 years required something different. And then these next 10 years, because there's one kid left in the house, although you have a gaggle of grandkids. So you're
Yeah.
going from one season into the next.
But I think that there are things sometimes when we get, we spend so much time like looking towards the next season and I want to rush to get there.
Yes.
I think sometimes when you get to the next season, whether or not you rushed, you think, okay, I'm done with that. So I can leave that. And there are certain things that should come with you.
Yes.
And the requirements of the season that forced me to have a certain pace, some of those things it would have been good for those things to remain requirements.
Mm-hmm. For example,
Being home. So like I work from home now. I love being home, but there was a lot of ripping and running and racing in the 40s. And I looked up one day and was like, I don't want to travel this much. Like I just
yeah,
followed the more invitations. I'm going to go. It was great. But one day I looked up and thought, I've missed
that's
one
not
too
what
many
I
games.
want.
That's
Yeah,
not what I want.
that's
And
right.
so I would have been more intentional. But some of this you can only see looking back. You see what I'm
Of
saying? Which is
course.
why we need
Yeah.
wisdom. But that's what I would say. I would just bring some slow down and intentionality with me. Like I left the choir. I left singing praise and worship. I left doing those things. And while I could not have done them in my 30s with small children, I left it. And I think in those seasons, having something musical that I was always working on would have been, I don't know if I've ever told you this. Aunt Louise said, she brought a piano. Our 90-year-old aunt moved to Dallas from
This is
Maryland.
actually our
Our
dad's
dad's
aunt, so
aunt.
it's our great aunt. Yes.
She moved and brought a piano. And I said, I'm so surprised you brought that piano with you. And she said, because even now, it's still the thing I hope I get to make time for. It's one of the
Oh,
regrets of my life that I always said I would get back around to it
and didn't.
and didn't. But she just kept carrying this grand piano around as she moved. And I looked at it and said, I don't want that to be what I say.
Yeah.
I have a grand piano, a baby grand piano. I want to
That was
play it.
given to you as a gift all those years ago.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So then the second half of the question, part B, was what would you tell yourself different about podcasting? Is there anything you would have done differently in the start of your podcasting years now that you look back?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think one of the gifts of being in our family is we can do things on our feet.
Yep.
And so that's a gift, but it's also a hang up because sometimes taking the time to go deeper helps you to be more sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
You're not always trying to come up with something. So I think just developing the habit of planning and preparing better. That's what I
That
probably
is
would have
so
done.
interesting to me to hear you say that because you're one of the most planning, preparing, having things laid out person that I know, really. So it's interesting for me to hear you say you would have done that. So are you saying preparing for a guest, maybe not having read in full the book they wrote, or just because you didn't have the time to look into the depth of information about that guest beforehand?
Yeah, I think it goes back to speed. I think I can do it and I can do it fast. I can take somebody's book while I'm interviewing them
Correct. She can.
and flip to a page and while they're talking, glance down, look at the paragraph and find a line to quote and say on page so and so and so. I've never picked up their book before that and have a good conversation.
Yeah.
But I know you can have a better conversation when you've read the book.
Mm-hmm.
You can have a better conversation when, a few minutes before you interview. So in other words, I don't want to, I think I'm good at what I do. I think finding balance with being better at it by putting in more time to prepare for it, whether it's a guest or myself.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, that's something I would have started and kept a better rhythm for. I think I started that way. And then, I started
Life.
this podcast before She's Still There came out, before I started traveling. So when life sped up, it goes back to what are the requirements of this season
Yeah.
for me to do things well. And I figured out how to condense them, but condensed is not always better. Does life feel out of control for you right now? Are you struggling to balance all the things? Well, what if I told you that you could have the best of planning your life well and doing that with your personal coach? I have put the best of a planner and the best of a personal coach in a tool that is going to help you straighten things out and focus on the priorities that matter most. Let me introduce you to the Full Circle Planner. What's different about this planner is I'm in it. My name is Chrystal Evans Hurst, and every week in this planner, every quarter, and at the beginning and the end of the year, I'm asking you the right questions at the right time so that you can find the right answers that will help you own your life. Listen, we only have this one life to live, and your time and how you spend it matters. So if you're looking to gain clarity about what that means and the steps that you need for your life to do that, well, listen, I understand what that is, and I know how to help you, and I help you right here in these pages. Get your full circle planner today.
Is it your current plan to keep going to the 1000th episode? Because your mother, see, if your mother was here, our, our mom, she had a time limit on things.
Oh,
She
yeah.
would say,
You're
this
wired
is,
like that too.
yes, she would say, this is my assignment for, I think 10 years is what I'm going to do this conference. For example, she did a conference for pastors' wives, and she had thought from the very beginning, I'm going to do it for a decade. And then when she got to the decade mark, the conference was at the height of conferencing. Women, pastors' wives from everywhere came to this conference. And it didn't matter to her that there was a lot of momentum. She loved that. She was grateful for it, but she was still very committed to the fact that no, my assignment is over. So if you all want to continue, someone else is willing to take over and start a different thing. But I'm not going to keep myself tethered to what I think now the time and the season and the assignment is over. So my question to you, as you look at this 10-year mark, do you feel like I have done what I was supposed to do? Or do you feel like, no, I feel like I'm just getting started and I have a lot of legs left and running space, and when it comes to podcasting in particular? Or do you know? Like, have you thought about that?
Aunt Joe, who is our 82-year-old, been at our
Play
church
on.
forever, play aunt. I had lunch with her yesterday and she asked me, "So, Chrystal, I need to ask you something. You are 52, correct?" I said, "Yes." She said, "So what are your dreams and your goals?" And the thing is, I'm a goal-oriented person,
Yes, you are.
but, and many of the things that I'm doing now came from stuff I wrote down in my 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And I do set goals for what I'm currently doing, meaning, how do I want to do it better?
Mm-hmm.
When am I going to finish the next book? It's that. But I don't, when she said that, I was a little like
Jarred by the question.
jarred by like, not what are the goals related to what you're doing? What are your,
Personal
stop
goals
and
for
dream
your,
again.
yes.
What do you actually want to do? Um, so when you ask me that question, the only answer I have is I mean, it's just keep currently is to continue going. I don't have an end date, but I also feel I'm wired a little like daddy like that. It's
Mm,
like when it's done, but I don't know when it's going to be done. I'm just going
yeah.
to keep doing it until it's done.
You're still enjoying it?
I am still enjoying it, but I do think I would enjoy it more if I had breaks. So that is one thing that we are planning for
Okay.
2025. So I'll have a couple of breaks in there and to batch process more so that I'm not in it. I've done it and then I'm free.
Yeah.
Um, and I do say that my dream has always been that Chrystal is a person, but the sister circle is its own thing. I would really love to have like the Sister Circle podcast have other personalities, so I'm not the only person that has to do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, so yes to continuing because I think that it's great for women, Christian women, to have a place where we'll have real conversations. That's one thing I want to change. I want to be a little more rebellious in the kinds of conversations that we have
Mm-hmm.
because everybody else is having the conversations. And why are women that love Jesus so afraid to say what needs to be said?
Are you willing then to interview some people who completely disagree with you, actually, on things that matter? Like they completely
Just means
disagree.
I need to be prepared.
You sure do.
I mean, like, you just can't float on agreement or on what you heard in church all your life. What you
Yeah,
say actually has to make sense. And I think I'm a very logical, thoughtful,
you are.
educated
Mhm.
person, but you don't get sharpened when everybody is going in the same direction. You get sharpened when something
Totally.
is coming at you perpendicular. So,
And don't you feel like it's actually such an injustice to ourselves when the only people we connect with, have conversation with, allow ourselves to be around are the people that think exactly like us, feel like us. It seems like when there are other people that they may not be, in your tight knit group, but when you get to be challenged, that makes
Yeah.
you think and sharpen your convictions
Yeah.
and have a
I
defense
I
for them.
just think it's a tightrope to walk because you don't want to mislead people, confuse people, but you do want
Yeah.
to say, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
And I also think all truth is God's truth. And even if someone is not a believer, if they're speaking truth, you can learn from other people. So I think that what I would love to do is have somebody that's off the beaten path that you would never listen to, but listen to what they said. Let me tell you what the verse is that actually said that before they got here.
Yeah.
So you can hear it in a different way.
Yes.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
I would love to do more of that. It's hard though, because all the PR people and all the book publishers, which I'm grateful for, they send me same vein people.
Yes.
So in order to find or share other people,
That has to be a proactive
it has
effort
to be
on your part.
proactive, and it's not always easy.
Yeah.
That's it.
Because, like you said, the people that are coming to you are the people that are most familiar with you and
Right.
you with them. And so you just get
Right.
fed that. So
You
it's
just get fed that.
easier to,
Right.
yeah. So you'd have to do a little deeper digging to
Yes.
get a different person.
Yes.
Yes, understood. If there is one person, this is going to be hard for you to
Uh,
answer. If
uh,
there's one person you could spend the day with,
mm.
based on the conversation you had with them, you're like, oh, if I could just spend that
So
entire
someone I've
day.
interviewed.
Yeah, well, both. I was referring to somebody you've
Okay.
interviewed, but outside of that, I want to ask that question too. But if there's someone that you interviewed them and you're actually like, oh my gosh, because let me tell y'all something about this one right here. She will spend the whole day
I
at a
love
coffee shop.
one-on-one. I love
She's a
it.
one-on-one person, which is why podcasting to me is so you, because you enjoy sitting down with one person, like seriously, at a coffee shop. She won't move for 7 hours. She'll be there with that person, just talking about everything, talking about layers of life, enjoying more coffee, more hot tea,
Or I'll
all
meet
the
you at the Waffle
things,
House at 5
or the
a.m.
Waffle House.
because it's open and our kids are still asleep. So there's that.
There's that. There's nothing else open at 5 a.m. except the Waffle House?
Starbucks, but they don't have full food.
Full food. Are we calling that food? It is. They have good waffles. I'm saying the waffles at Waffle House are really good.
You have to pick your Waffle House,
You
but
have to
yes.
pick the waffle. Okay, that's a good way that's what I was trying to say. Anyway, so
Uh-huh.
you're a great one-on-one person. You
Mm-hmm.
love that.
I
You
do.
would choose that over a big group, speaking to a big group. You enjoy that, but you
Yes.
really
I
like.
love depth.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's someone you could go deeper with and spend hours just talking to and gleaning from and listening to or debating with or that you have interviewed, who would that be?
Mm. That I have interviewed.
Mm-hmm. Take your time.
I mean, I could tell you who it is if I had not interviewed them.
Okay.
Okay. Oprah.
Oh, just to sit and talk with her.
Just let yes. No, I don't even need to talk to her. When I started homeschooling Robin Jefferson, I don't know if you remember who she is, but I said, "Can I just come to your house and just be around your vicinity?" I didn't really talk to her. She was busy with her kids. I just learned so much from just being in her space.
So do you mean as a businesswoman, as an entrepreneur, as a woman, would you want to be in her space in a work kind of way, in a home kind of way? What would it be that you would be looking to
All
discover?
of that.
All of that.
I would say, let me intern with you for 30 days and just follow you around. I know we're getting off topic.
No,
I don't
this is
think
great.
people understand how valuable it is to be in someone's sphere. You
I
don't you
can
don't
tell
have to
you
get a
some stories of
paycheck.
why that is
Yeah, you
important.
don't have to get a paycheck. They don't have to ask you no questions. You just need to be in the room. And I think so many people, because they're not getting what they want, reject the room and they're missing out
You're
on,
missing out.
yeah, I just want to be in the room.
Yep.
That's it. I want to
Yep.
be in the room because I think it's not, I'm not talking, I mean, yeah, I think she has wisdom to share, but it's more about watching how she operates and the people around her operate and the expectation of excellence and delivery, that whole thing. So
Mm-hmm.
business, but personal. I'd want to be in the room when she's talking to the girls that live with her from South Africa,
Mm-hmm.
that relationship,
Mm-hmm.
that.
And then also, I don't want to put more years on Oprah, but I know she's in her 60s.
She's
Has
turned
she?
70.
Has she turned 70? Okay, I was going to say that, but I wasn't sure if that was
Hmm.
correct. Um, Even that, to be in the
She's 70.
sphere of a 70-year-old woman,
She did the same thing with Maya Angelou.
that's right.
She was like, I just want to be around you.
Around, because there's wisdom from having lived life
That's
through a
correct.
lot of hard things and high things and low things and having built things and watching them come down and all of
And I
that.
know people are going to get in the comments and have comments
Yes.
about that. I don't care.
Yeah,
I just
that's
want to
what
say
I
that
was
out loud.
gonna say that.
And,
Yeah.
and, and not because I'm not unaware of whatever y'all are saying. I'm saying we are limiting ourselves when we only have conversations or learn from people who think like us. It's
That's right.
limiting.
Right.
Yeah,
And you don't have to agree
that's correct.
on all concepts and matters in life to still be able to appreciate
Hmm.
someone's excellence in a
Hmm.
particular way and
Hmm.
glean from their
And
life.
I'm not saying that because she's Oprah. I'm saying that because she built a career off of interviewing people. So
Yeah.
in terms of what I can learn from her, developing a content creation organization, bringing other people in with their gifts to create a brand of shared content aggregation, because that's what the sister circle is. I'm saying it from a very intentional, I want to do what you've done, but for women of faith.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just because she's Oprah. It's
Yeah,
because
no.
she's
Yeah.
done something similar to what I would like to do.
I'm actually so glad that you said the person that you said, and then you brought up all that context around it, because I do feel like we limit ourselves so much
Hmm.
when we're judgmental of one another from wanting to learn or in some way glean or get wisdom from somebody that is different. And
Hmm.
that is it's okay.
Hmm.
It's okay. In any relationship, sometimes in church, you literally have to take the meat and spit out the bones.
You do. You do.
So bravo. That's great. I'm glad you said that. Um, Anybody else that you're like, I would love to?
Yeah,
What if
who
Oprah hears this and says, I'm gonna like come on and do your
she
podcast?
might, because she probably follows you.
No, that's
Cause you're a movie star.
I'm not a movie
I
star.
bet you she's
Oh
seen
my
The Forge.
gosh. Anyway, back to the interview that I was
She's
having.
definitely seen War Room.
How do you know
I
that
just
Oprah
believe
has
it in my
seen
spirit. I
in your
believe it. I believe it in my spirit.
Oprah, Crystal and Priscilla would love to come and glean from you and learn from you
That is
and
correct.
see how you interview people or let us interview you. We'll do it in a heartbeat.
She's the movie star,
I'm not a movie star.
but I just want to be in the room.
Anyway, also we would love to come for Thanksgiving. Like when you
That's
have the big
correct.
table with all of your,
We'll bring pumpkin bread.
you will not regret it. Our mother's pumpkin bread,
Phenomenal.
it will change your life. We will make loaves for everyone in your household and you'll be blessed. You'll be blessed. Anyway, okay, so anybody else though? Was there anybody else that came to your mind as you were thinking about that you would actually like love to spend a little more time with?
Can I tell you who I would want to spend the day with?
What? Who?
Uh,
Me? I know, girl. I
well,
know. Yeah.
well, there's two answers. They're short. Sally Clarkson, because that's her legacy too.
Yep.
And she has made room at the table to talk to me. But it's like I thought about her and thought she spends a lot of time in England and Oxford. Just go and just be with her and have tea with her every day. But then that
Yeah.
made me think I have an aunt in England.
Yes, you do.
And then that made me think I have an aunt here. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the people that are the closest to us,
You
we
for
don't make the room to just be in their space.
Yeah.
So I think she would be great, but also in this season of life, and Aunt Ruth is going to be 80
Unbelievably. She
next
looks like
year.
she's 24. It's ridiculous.
I'll say it out loud. Maybe we should make time to just go over there
Yeah. And just be with her.
7, 8 days and just be there for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Spectacular. Is there anything else that felt important to you that you wanted to be able to say or communicate or just sort of in regards to your 500th episode and 10 years of podcasting?
You know, you and I talk a lot about the things that happen along the way. I remember having that conversation with Mom one time.
Mm-hmm.
And if I look at someone else who has 500 or 10 or 20 or 25, you look at it and you go, how did they do that? What did they
Mm-hmm.
have? All these things. But I just want to remind everybody anything that you do one day at a time. You build one brick at a time. You do one step at a time. And when I watch you, there's so many people ask you all the time, how did you do this? And how did you, and you're just like I kind of just kept walking through doors. I mean, I did my part, but I kept walking through doors. And I think for myself, you ask me where I want to go. I want to be better at just walking through doors. I don't want to
Taking the next
deny
step.
who I am. I am an achiever. But balancing the wiring with the just look for the next door.
Yeah.
And I want to be better at that in this season of my life so that everything that's supposed to be for me in my life, I receive.
That's great.
And so I think the message for me in 510 years